All right, guys, Joe McDonagh here, joined from MMA-Prospects.com with Bobby Lee, who will be fighting for the CFFC interim welterweight championship this weekend at CFFC 85. Bobby, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Thank you for taking the time out. And, we just spoke a little bit before recording just how are you feeling? How good does it feel to have a fight? You just said to me, it was almost like a 2020 without a fight. How good does it feel that this week you're going to be making that walk?
It's what I live for. So like I'm absolutely in my prime, in my like peak. Like this week is what I've been dreaming about for more than a decade. I'm going into a 5-round championship fight. It means the world to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that was my next question is, just take us through this, what would this mean for your career to get this title, to get this belt around your waist?
It means that my next fight gets to be the fight that I'm looking for, which is a major promotion. Now, this is by far biggest fight of my life. So like every single fight I've been saying that since the beginning, every fight it's going to get bigger and bigger. But now this is really it. This is one of those promotions and it's on Fight Pass. I'm the main event on UFC Fight Pass. It's the fight to get me to that next big fight, which is a big money fight. Fighting a name that the country knows. I don't think too many people know who Mike Hill is. The die-hard MMA fans are aware of who he is because he was on The Ultimate Fighter, but I didn't even know that. Like that was one of the seasons I didn't watch of The Ultimate Fighter. So someone had to fill me in that he was there and that he was a part of the infamous "Let Me Bang Bro" moment, which is just not cool.
And he just fought this weekend. Julian Lane just fought Thiago Alves at bare knuckle in a split decision. But like you said, this is on UFC Fight Pass. This is the biggest fight of your career. With that, does that come with more nerves or more excitement or a mixture?
But it's both. It's both. Whenever I say nerves, it's just like it's excitement. It's those butterfly feelings in your stomach of like, you're about to fight a grown ass man, and this guy has been training combat for a decade. He's one of those guys who's like he's gonna come to try to bang, and that's what I've been training my whole life for too. So he's older. He's older. He's got years on me. But we have the same amount of experience. Like I'm a young veteran. So like I've been in there in some pretty big moments, some pretty big fights, and they've all prepared me for this. So like it wasn't like a huge heads up. It was like 1 month notice, but 1 month you're able to get in better shape than 2 weeks heads up, which is what it's been the last couple of times.
Absolutely. And, like you said, Mike Hill, maybe not a lot of people know about, but, he has been fighting for a long time. And, he was on The Ultimate Fighter, the let me bang bro moment, as you said. But, so talk us through that. You were supposed to fight Jeremiah Wells at first, opponent change. Now you're fighting Mike Hill. Mike Hill takes a lot of things to decision. He has great cardio. He likes to work you to the end of the fight. Is that something you've worked on since this opponent change?
It's something I'm aware of. It's just the difference in challenge between Jeremiah and then Mike is just you got to take it in motion. You can't like when they said that it's going to be Mike Hill instead of Jeremiah Wells, it was like, well, I still want a championship belt. I still want a 5-round fight. So they gave me those 2 extra rounds to work. Now Mike is coming off of a 5-round win. So that's some experience that he has had. He's coming off of a 25-minute fight, but that was 2 years ago. So like I've had a bunch of fights in the last 2 years. So whether you talk about ring rust or not, I know that he's a game competitor. Like you said, he has 7 decisions in a row. That's a lot of fights to go the distance. I feel like I have more talent, more finishing ability. Like I'm gonna get in there, beat him up, take him down, control him, and I'm going to get the finish is what I'm going to do.
And like you just said, he hasn't fought since 2018. How hard is it to, in a way, prepare for a guy? Because I'm sure that, you've grown as a fighter in your last 2 years, but you don't have any footage on that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So I don't know how hard he's been in the gym training when he hasn't had a fight booked in over a year or something. I've been actively looking for fights this whole time. So we'll see if how much COVID like affected his training. Like my training was completely, there was no time on the mat for several months, which is the first time I haven't had any months on the mat in years. It's like 6 years. But we'll see who got to like actually get back in the gym. Like I was running more than I ever have in my life. So when I get back in the gym and then we finally get to hit pads for the first time in 4 months, I'm smashing pads. I'm in the prime of my life, and I really feel like I'm coming into my own in this fight. Mike, nothing against him. He's just, this is not his moment. He had his chance. This is not his chance. This is my chance. This is my moment.
Awesome, man. And, to some of the fans that may not know you yet, what would you describe your best attribute as a fighter?
My well-roundedness. I can strike. I can grapple. I'm dangerous everywhere. I have wins on top, submissions off bottom. It's just a fight, and I'm able to bring the fight in all areas. I really do feel like I have the edge in grappling here. I've been working with Brock Larson for years now, and I feel like his style has taken well to my physical attributes. Like I'm built similar. I have a similar mindset, similar upbringing to Brock. So like just the combination of football and wrestling growing up, and then like the striking now that I get at the Cellar Kickboxing Academy. So like the blend of Muay Thai and grappling upbringing just it's a handful for anyone. And I can't wait to show you. It's like I've been doing secret ninja training, so like I get to show that to the world Friday night. It's fight week.
Absolutely, man. And like you said about COVID, you couldn't use the mats for probably the first time in months, that it's been in years. What was the toughest part about COVID? Was it the uncertainty of not knowing when you were going to fight again? Was it just having to train differently? Like you said, you were running a lot more than you usually would. What was the hardest part?
It was like the world was going to collapse there for that March 16th when the gyms were closed. That third and fourth week of March, those moments were just. Everyone's on edge. Everyone's like they don't have the outlet for the aggression. So it's and then the George Floyd thing happened. So it's just like these things that happened in 2020 were just, the way the cities were on fire and stuff. It was just very like there was no voice of reason. Like you couldn't look to. Like a Walter Cronkite on the news, and like this is what was happening. There's someone speaking like the facts to us. So when you talk about COVID, it's just it was the worst hiccup in a year ever. But like let's move forward. Let's get on with it. Fortunately, CFFC they're putting on fights. I cannot be like thankful enough for this opportunity to compete. And if someone's going to watch this fight on Fight Pass, hopefully they can be entertained and inspired by the fight. This is a world championship, and I'm from Minnesota, and just I've been with Brock the whole time, so it's a homegrown effort. I hope there's some people that look forward to it, and like they can forget about the weirdness in the world for just 15 not 15 minutes, 25 minutes 25 minutes or less.
Absolutely. A sense of normalcy that we all need. So you already brought up Brock Larson, a former UFC guy, kind of your mentor. Speak on learning under him your whole career.
The list of guys that guy has trained with is unreal. Like it really is some of the Hall of Famers in the sport. Guys like Cain Velasquez, Brock Lesnar, Junior Dos Santos, the Nogueiras. I mean, that's heavyweight greatness right there, and that's just heavyweights that he's worked with. But like him going to ATT and AKA and Matt Hume, training with Matt Hume, he soaked up knowledge. He had more than a decade of martial arts practice when I started working with him at 16 years old. in these past 8 years, he hasn't slowed down. He's still been learning from great people. So like I have one of the best jujitsu or really just MMA trainers in the country, and I've been with him, and he's got a small group of people that he works with in St. Cloud. It's just I've been very fortunate that I ran into him early on in my life. So Brock, it means the world to me that Brock is there for me for this fight. I won an amateur championship with him. Now I get to win a professional championship with him. So I can't wait to hang the belt in his gym.
Absolutely. That's special, man. And, like you said earlier, you're a young veteran in the sport. You're only 24 years old. You've already had 15 pro fights, I believe another 6 or 7 amateur fights. Just speak on having that many fights at only 24 years old. And did you think that you would be in this spot at 24 years old?
Well, it's interesting because I used to Wednesday nights were football family nights with my football coach. I had my the defensive coordinator was Håkan Bankston, and he would have he's a like a you just try to set us like on the right path. So like we wrote down some goals when I was a junior in high school. And what was my goals? Like my goals were black belt by 25 and world champion in MMA by 25. That was some of the long-term goals. So I'm 24, and I cannot believe that this world championship opportunity came before me before 25. I was beginning to think I wasn't going to meet that one goal of getting a world championship by 25. It just didn't seem like that was going to appear. And then it did. It came out of the blue. I was looking forward to dethroning Jeremiah Wells. I was looking forward to that test. He's an athlete. He's scary, but like I could have beaten him. So I want that opportunity in the future. If he doesn't already sign with another promotion. Yeah. So around like junior year high school. So what, like 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, this whole time I've been thinking about winning a world championship and being a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So I just recently got my brown belt, and I was telling Brock, I'm going to go out there and submit this guy. I don't have to be a brown belt forever. I mean, I'm going to go show some black belt level of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you ever just kind of look back on that? Like you just said, you're 16, 17 years old, and you're telling your football coach, I'm going to be a world champion by 25. Here you are at 24, and you're fighting for a world championship, at CFFC. Do you ever kind of take a moment, look back, and say, wow?
Okay, now think of this. When I first got into jiu-jitsu, it was like looking on YouTube and stuff. And I was in 8th grade when I said, when I approached my dad, and I said, hey, Dad, there's a jiu-jitsu tournament at Chaplain Park High School on this day. Can I do it? The first word he said was no. No, you can't do it. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know jiu-jitsu. Why would you do a jiu-jitsu tournament? Well, we went to the tournament. He allowed me to do the tournament. And I did a flying armbar in my second match. The first time I'd ever practiced flying arm bars was in the warm-ups for that tournament. So like I had confidence. I had belief in myself. And then like not high school, just wrestling, junior high wrestling, that already like helps grappling a ton. So wrestling, it really helped. But I went out there and hit a flying armbar. It was a 9-second submission, and that was my first introduction into jiu-jitsu competition. So since the beginning, like I've believed in myself, and I know I can have these abilities to do what some people would describe as crazy secret ninja skills and stuff. Yeah, I mean, people like skills like tornado kicks and flying arm bars.
You may only be a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, but I would say you're a black belt in secret ninja skills, Bobby. So, let's say, I'm not saying you're overlooking anyone, but let's say you win the title on Friday night. How close do you think you are to that UFC call? And, or, if that doesn't come, would you fight Jeremiah Wells if he was coming back to CFFC?
Well, yeah, I mean, yes, I'd fight Jeremiah Wells. I signed that contract. I was ready to go. the guys on Dana White's Contender Series, it's more than one person that knows me like will say you can beat these guys. You can beat the guys that are going into the UFC now. So whether it's the UFC or PFL or ONE or Bellator,
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to the next big fight. So this is a big fight. I'm not looking past it. It's a 25-minute fight. It's a dangerous thing. It can change your life if you fuck it up. If I go for the knockout in the first round and he survives, he can inflict a world of hurt onto me in the later rounds. So I need to be smart and be ready for a professional attempt at competing hard for 5 rounds. It's like Keely's Mota, you know the name? He's a Brazilian Wanderlei Silva kind of guy.
Yeah.
He's a good fighter. So I fought him. He beat me. That guy went on to fight for the LFA championship, and when he could have won by first round TKO. There was a little bit of weirdness with the ref, but he got beat up in the later rounds, the 4th and 5th rounds, and I saw him beaten up on a table in the back room, and it's like, wow. I mean, even like every dog has his day. Like Keely's is a phenomenal athlete and a great fighter, and he could probably win that fight given another opportunity. But in that moment, I saw him, and he was beaten and battered on that backstage table, and I thought about, like, I don't want that to happen to me. I mean, I've been in wars, and right now I have a black eye, but it's nothing. It's no big. It's just a little headbutt. But I've had those wars where my nose has been tested. I haven't broken my nose, but my eyes are fine. I don't have scar tissue. But like these fights, they can change your life. So
absolutely,
I'm on edge. Like, I'm aware that this guy is a killer and he's trying to take me out. He wants this world championship just as bad as I do. He's older. He's got a family, and he's got, I think, a kid or something. But, like, I mean, this is for me. This is for my future. So we'll see who wins. I mean, I obviously, but I'm going into it with some confidence and, it's just excitement.
Absolutely.
I'm prepared for it.
Yeah, and what do you have for a prediction for the fans on Friday night?
Oh, first round Kimura. Takedown, boom.
I love it. I love it.
No,
will you be practicing the Kimura right before you go out there?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna hit like 100, maybe like 1,000 Kimuras between now and that time Friday night. It's just a good move. You can hit it from anywhere. And if the neck presents itself, I'm not too good to take an easy choke.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Bobby, thank you very much for the time. I appreciate it. We're all wishing you the best of luck come Friday night at CFFC 85.
Hey, thank you for taking the time. Have a good night.
Absolutely, Bobby.